morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time and where you're watching from. In this video, I'll be talking about properties of carbon oxide in our study of chemistry. I'll be talking about properties of carbon oxide with the formula CO2. Properties of a matter can either be physical properties or chemical properties. Yes. You talk about physical properties, you talk about the physical appearance or nature of a matter. And when you talk about chemical properties, you talk about reactions of that matter to other substances like water, air, acid, and base, depending. Now, carbon oxide, physical properties. Of CO2. Physical properties of CO2. Now, number one, let's talk about its color. Carbon oxide is a colorless, odorless gas with a characteristic refreshing test. Recall that the refreshing test of carbonated or aerated drinks is due to the presence of carbon oxide in them. Then number two, we'll talk about its solubility in water. Now, carbon oxide is slightly soluble in water. It is slightly soluble in water. The only two gases that are highly or completely soluble in water is hydrogen chloride gas and ammonia gas, and that's why they are used for fountain experiments. But carbon oxide is slightly soluble in water. The number three, we talk about its density. Of course, the relative molecular mass of carbon oxide is 44, which is directly proportional to its density. Because density is mass per unit volume. Now compare that with the density of air, which is around 29. Now, of course, 29, of course, 44 by 29, you have around 1.5, which means that carbon oxide CO2 is about 1.5 denser than air. It's about 1.5 denser than air. Then number four, let's talk about its action on lithium. Carbon oxide being acidic gas, of course, turns dark or moist blue lithium red, of course, indicating that it's an acidic gas. Then number five, gaseous carbon oxide liquefies and solidifies at minus 78 degrees Celsius, which means carbon oxide can be in gaseous state, liquid state, and solid state. But with the gaseous form, it can become a liquid that's liquefied at minus 78 degrees Celsius, and it can also become a solid at minus 78 degrees Celsius. Of course, its ability to sublime at that minus 78 degrees Celsius to provide a lower temperature, of course, makes them valuable to be used as a refrigerant for perishable goods. Now, chemical properties of carbon oxide. Chemical properties of carbon oxide. The number one, we talk about reaction with water. Reaction with water. Carbon oxide is CO2 in a gaseous state plus water, H2O in a liquid state. When it reacts, it forms H2CO, H2CO3. That is tried also carbon 4 acid. one carbon at the reactor side, one carbon. Oxygen is 3, oxygen 3, 2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. Number 2, reaction with alkali. Reactions with alkali. Recall that alkali are basic hydroxides that are soluble in water. Typical example is sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. CO2 can react with these alkalis like sodium hydroxide, of course, to form sodium trioxocarbonate, then plus water. Sodium trioxocarbonate plus water. So whenever carbon dioxide reacts with alkali, it always produces metallic trioxocarbonate and water. So one carbon at the product side. Oxygen is 3. Oxygen is 3 plus 1, 4, of course. Sodium is 2, sodium is 1, the meaning is not balanced. Putting 2 here makes sodium 2, oxygen 4, means balance. Number 3. Reaction with burning magnesium. Reaction with burning magnesium. Of course, although carbon dioxide does not support combustion, but the intense heat produced by the burning magnesium, of course, decomposes what carbon dioxide to release oxygen to the oxidation of what is magnesium. Of course, the equation of reaction will be CO2, which is the carbon dioxide plus burning magnesium. This will give us an ash of magnesium oxide plus the black deposit of carbon. Black deposit of carbon. Finally, we compare number 4, reactions with red hot coke. Reactions of carbon dioxide with red hot coke. Reactions with red hot coke. CO2 in a gaseous state can react with red hot coke. Of course, this red hot coke is a powerful reducing agent, and its function reduces carbon dioxide into carbon 2 oxide. Bringing 2 to balance, of course, 2 carbon, of course, 2 oxygen. This is also in the gaseous state. Hope you like it. Share, comment, and follow Superstand School of Science for more chemistry lessons. God bless you.